Stuff to do with family overwhelms me quite a bit. You know, worry or stress around family side of things, that does overwhelm me quite a bit. But in terms of, you know, doing the job and things like that, I don't feel too overwhelmed by that.
Prince William stood in the gilded light of Windsor Castle on the night of March 18th, 2026, and watched his cancer-stricken father shake hands with the president of Nigeria. Charles looked gray. Charles looked finished. And in that single terrible moment, William made the decision he had been circling for months. Camilla had to go. Her entire family had to go. And the order to begin the eviction was already being drafted before the banquet plates were cleared. The night the mask came off. The first Nigerian state visit to the United Kingdom in nearly 40 years was supposed to be a triumph. Cameras rolling, full pageantry, the whole world watching the British monarchy do what it does best.
Which I acknowledge is no small sacrifice, and so it is my particular pleasure to wish you, Mr. President, peace, blessings, and an abundance of joy.
Instead, Prince William spent the entire evening in a quiet, controlled fury. Multiple insiders say his reaction to King Charles's two-day itinerary was outright anger. He believed the schedule was excessively demanding for a 77-year-old man fighting cancer, a man who had visibly shown signs of fatigue in the weeks leading up to the event. A source close to the situation called the banquet a turning point. William firmly believed his father simply was not well enough to attend and should have prioritized rest. Camilla disagreed. She insisted their presence was essential, especially given the scrutiny the family was already under. They went. And from the moment Charles walked into the ballroom looking drained, William's worry curdled into something far colder. After the banquet, the conversations inside the palace got sharper. Charles's tired appearance only confirmed William's fear that his father was being driven past his limits. The question that started haunting him was simple. Who was doing the driving? In William's mind, it was not the schedulers. It was not the diplomats. It was Queen Camilla herself. Sources say William felt genuinely distressed watching what he believed was his father being pushed past the breaking point. Every attempt he made to suggest Charles slow down was, in his view, dismissed. He felt frustrated. He felt powerless. Then he stopped feeling powerless and started planning. Behind the walls of Windsor Castle, a quiet coup is unfolding right now. By every account, the gloves are off. And what William did in the days that followed has no real precedent in modern royal history. People who were inside the room that night describe a strange double image. On one side of the ballroom, Charles smiled, raised his glass, delivered his lines, and played the role the institution required of him. On the other side, William watched his father like a man watching a building catch fire in slow motion. He barely touched his food. He spoke when spoken to. And every few minutes, his eyes flicked back to Charles, measuring him, calculating, deciding. One source said, William looked like a man who had finished negotiating with himself. Whatever line had been holding him back had snapped somewhere between the toasts and the dessert course. By the time the guests filed out into the cold March night, the future king had already made up his mind. The pace was going to change. The palace was going to change. And the people he held responsible for putting his father in that chair were going to find out exactly how far he was willing to go. The ultimatum that shook Windsor. In February 2026, weeks before that banquet ever happened, William had already delivered the message that would set everything else in motion. He sat his stepmother down and gave her a clear, blunt, unmistakable ultimatum. Cut ties with Sarah Ferguson completely or face his strong disapproval. A source said, William believes it is absolutely crucial to distance the royal family from Ferguson to protect their reputation. The ultimatum came in the wake of Prince Andrew's ongoing legal nightmare.
Overseas, just days after Prince Andrew announced he'll stop using his royal titles.
Now he faces new allegations and investigations related to Jeffrey Epstein and Virginia Giuffre.
It all comes just one day before Giuffre's memoir detailing her time with Andrew is set to be released.
Recent documents from the United States Department of Justice had included Sarah Ferguson's name. Insiders insist she did nothing wrong, but William sees a royal family in such a fragile position that personal feelings have to take a back seat to survival. Camilla refused. Her friendship with Fergie predates her marriage to Charles by decades. It has survived royal scandals, public divorces, palace coups, and tabloid wars. She is not throwing it away because William says so. King Charles had already taken steps to distance the family from Andrew and Sarah, removing their official titles and evicting them from their home. For Camilla, that was enough. For William, it was barely the beginning. What she did not yet understand is that William was not really asking about Sarah Ferguson. Ferguson was a test, a loyalty check disguised as a request. He wanted to see whether Camilla would bend when the future King of England personally told her to. When she refused, she gave him his answer, and that answer changed everything. From that moment on, William stopped seeing his stepmother as someone he could negotiate with and started seeing her as someone he would have to remove. Some inside the palace believe William is overstepping by telling a sitting queen which friends she is allowed to keep. He is not the king yet, but he is acting like he already is, issuing orders, demanding unity, drawing red lines that no one is supposed to cross. The crown still rests on Charles's head, but it is becoming clearer by the day that William is the one quietly directing the future of the institution. What is even more striking is how the conversation has bled out of the building. These details were supposed to stay locked behind palace doors. Instead, they have been leaking steadily for weeks. Many royal watchers believe those leaks are not accidental. Someone inside Windsor wants the world to know exactly where William stands. Whoever is doing it is making sure that when the day finally comes, no one will be surprised by what King William decides to do. Palace insiders now describe William as almost at war with his stepmother. The temperature in any room with both of them has dropped to freezing. Conversations are short. Eye contact is rare. Staff have reportedly started rearranging schedules just to keep them apart, and that single detail tells you how serious it has become. The wedge between them is no longer something polite tea can fix. Aides who have worked the royal residences for years say they have never seen anything like it. Royal households run on the careful management of small kindnesses. A nod across a hallway, a shared joke before a public appearance. A moment of warmth that signals to staff that the family is, on some level, still a family. All of that has vanished. The corridors of Windsor are colder. The protocol officers are walking on eggshells. And Camilla, by multiple accounts, has begun spending more and more time in her own private rooms, surrounded by the small, trusted circle of friends and relatives William has now made his target. This story is moving faster than the palace can contain it, and what comes next is going to shock you. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now, because you do not want to be the last one to find out what King William does the moment the crown is his. The ghost in every room. You cannot understand what is happening between William and Camilla without understanding the ghost that hangs over every conversation they have ever had. Princess Diana. People close to William say he was deeply hurt by Camilla's affair with his father, the affair that ended his parents' marriage, the affair that helped break his mother's spirit. Royal expert Christopher Anderson believes William has only ever tolerated Camilla, and that she has always been a little afraid of him. In his memoir, Spare, Prince Harry wrote that he and William literally begged their father not to marry Camilla. They asked him directly. They pleaded. Charles went ahead anyway.
She was the villain. She was the third person in the marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image.
Both brothers viewed Camilla as a wicked stepmother, as the woman who had taken something from them they could never get back. For years, against the odds, they made a fragile peace work. William found ways to cope. He and Camilla developed a workable, sometimes warm relationship. The wound was not healed, but it had scabbed over. Then Charles got sick, and every old feeling came flooding back. One insider put it bluntly: William feels he cannot forgive her for what he is watching. What used to be a disagreement about duty has turned, for him, into something deeply personal. When he looks at Camilla supporting Charles through a brutal public schedule despite his illness, he does not see a devoted wife. He sees the woman who once disrupted his entire family, the woman now making decisions about his father's health that, in his view, are simply not hers to make. Diana once famously said there were 3 people in her marriage. William grew up shaped by that sentence. And now, as his father's health declines, he is the one making sure there will not be 3 people in the future of the monarchy either. The book that blew everything open. On March 26, 2026, a literary grenade landed at the worst possible moment. Investigative royal biographer Tom Bower released his explosive new book, Betrayal, Power, Deceit, and the fight for the future of the royal family. The timing could not have been more catastrophic. Tensions inside Windsor were already at boiling point. Then this book hit the shelves and detonated. One of its most damaging claims was that Camilla had reportedly said Meghan Markle brainwashed Prince Harry. That single accusation created an immediate crisis for William, who has spent years carefully building distance between the working royals and the chaos surrounding his brother and sister-in-law's departure. A statement attributed to Camilla, true or not, dragged Meghan back into the headlines at the exact moment William was fighting his own war with the Yorks and watching his father's health collapse. The book did not stop there. It dug into the power dynamics inside the monarchy itself. Loyalty, ambition, succession, the whole bruised family laid bare on the page. As one source described it, the atmosphere inside Windsor Castle turned much chillier in the final week of March 2026. But the most explosive thing the book did was force one massive question back into the spotlight. What exactly happens to Camilla when William becomes king? Royal expert Joe Little said it plainly. The new King William will make all the decisions. Every single aspect of her public and private life will be reviewed. That review is no longer some distant possibility. William is already preparing for it. The book reminded everyone that time is running out, and the decisions being made right now will echo through royal history for generations. Inside the palace, the people closest to Camilla read the book and understood exactly what it was telling them. The future is coming, and the future has a name, and the future is not. On their side, Bauer's reporting also painted a picture of a man who has been quietly building this case for a long time. Not weeks, not months, years. The book suggested that William has been watching Camilla, watching her family, watching her friendships, and slowly assembling a list of everything he intends to undo the moment the crown changes hands. Every misstep was logged, every overreach was noted, every loyalty was weighed. And in the days after publication, sources say Camilla retreated into long, anxious phone calls with her closest allies, trying to figure out which pieces of the book were leaks from inside Windsor and which were Bauer's own digging. The answer to that question matters enormously, because if the leaks are coming from inside, it means William is no longer just preparing for the day he becomes king. It means he has started fighting that war already. The day the locks change. Every thread in this story leads to one single moment, the day William becomes king. And when that day comes, Queen Camilla's life is going to change forever. Royal expert Christopher Anderson believes Camilla's role in the monarchy will be reassessed the moment William takes the throne. She may still attend some events, she may still wear some of the jewels, but the woman who has spent 20 years carefully building her place at the heart of the royal family is about to find out exactly how conditional that place really was. Anderson told Us Weekly that William and Harry may appear fine in public, but they have always been quietly unhappy about Camilla stepping into their mother's place. The wound never closed, it just got covered up. As for her title, Joe Little of Majesty magazine confirmed that royal rules allow Camilla to keep the title of queen, just as the late Queen Mother kept hers until she passed at 101. But Little also said the new King William will make every decision. Every part of her public and private life will be reviewed. That review will reach far beyond Camilla herself. For the Parker Bowles family, this is a generational earthquake. They have spent the last 20 years building a quiet, comfortable place at the very edge of royal life. Invitations to Sandringham, seats at state events, the kind of access most British families could not even dream of. And in a single decision, when William finally takes the throne, all of that could vanish overnight. Sources say members of Camilla's family are already nervous. Some are reportedly making plans for a much quieter, much more private life, because they understand exactly what is coming. They have read the signals. They know how William thinks. They know that loyalty to Camilla, in the new king's eyes, may not be a credential at all. It may be a problem. William wants them gone, out of the residences, out of the photographs, out of the inner circle, permanently. This is the part of the story the palace has fought hardest to keep quiet. Because once the public understands that an entire branch of an extended royal family is being quietly prepared for exile, the whole carefully managed image of unity collapses. Sources describe nervous lunches in private clubs, hushed conversations between Parker Bowles, relatives about which properties they can keep, which titles they might lose, and which invitations will simply stop arriving the moment Charles is gone. One member of the extended family is said to have already begun moving certain personal items out of the residences they have used for years, not because anyone has ordered them to, but because they have read the room. They know how this ends, and they would rather leave on their own terms than be escorted out by a new king. And the Parker Bowles clan are not the only ones watching the clock. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie are paying very close attention. Their cousins group reportedly believes William is preparing major changes, and both princesses are said to be prepared to hire lawyers for whatever comes next. They have seen what William did to Andrew. They have seen what he is doing to Camilla. They are not waiting to find out what he plans for them. For Beatrice and Eugenie, the calculation is brutal and simple. They are the daughters of a disgraced prince. Their father has already been stripped, evicted, and erased from the official narrative. They have spent the last several years carefully rebuilding their own public reputations, leaning on private projects, charity work, and the kind of low-profile dignity that survives scandal. None of that will protect them if William decides their branch of the family is part of the past he wants to leave behind. So, they are doing the only thing they can. They are preparing. They are gathering legal advice. They are quietly mapping out which of their titles, residences, and incomes are vulnerable to the stroke of a new king's pen. And the message they are sending, very carefully, is that they will not go quietly the way Andrew did. William's vision for the palace is leaner, tighter, more controlled, fewer people in the inner circle, zero associations that could damage the royal image, no divided loyalties. It is similar to what Charles once envisioned, a slimmed-down monarchy without the excess. But William is taking the idea much further and much faster than his father ever dared. He has been preparing for this for years. He has studied the institution from the inside. He has watched which advisors his father trusts and which ones quietly pull strings in the background. He has memorized the names, the loyalties, the old debts, the buried scandals. He knows exactly who would resist him when the day comes, and he knows exactly which doors to close first. This is not the impulsive reaction of a worried son. This is the methodical work of a future monarch who has decided he will not inherit a mess. He will inherit a clean house, even if he has to clean it himself before the keys are handed over. The crown is not yet on William's head, but his hands are already on the levers. The locks at Windsor are already being changed. Somewhere inside that castle tonight, a list is being drawn up. Names are being crossed off. Doors that have stood open for 20 years are quietly, one by one, being closed. Camilla just does not know which one closes first. So, what do you think? Is William right to take control like this and protect his father? Or is he overstepping in a way that will damage the crown he is about to inherit? Drop your honest opinion in the comments below. And if this story pulled you in, do not miss our next investigation into the secret meetings happening right now between William and his closest advisors. Hit subscribe and ring that bell so you do not miss it.